It was a typical match day at Hillsborough as Sheffield Wednesday played West Bromwich Albion in South Yorkshire. With nearly 3,000 baggies in the away end, it was a lively atmosphere. One of those fans was 57-year-old Mark Townsend, a loyal season ticket holder at the Hawthorns who'd made the trip north with his nephew, Matt. Unbeknownst to him, this would be his last ever game. Mark didn't make it home that day, suffering a fatal cardiac arrest in the first half. I was there that day vlogging for West Brom Fan TV and I couldn't believe what I witnessed.
There's a stretcher in the stands at the moment. All the Albion fans are singing "Stop the Game" and there is nothing going on right now from this referee. There's actually a serious incident going on. What happened that day will stay with me forever. It took over 15 minutes for Mark to receive the medical attention he needed, with not a single working defibrillator in the away end. I spoke to Mark's brother Steve to reflect on what happened that day and to discuss what needs to be done to ensure that stadiums are safer.
Mark bought me this. It's supposed to be a model of me. It's called a retro scale. Retro scaler. It was supposed to be for my 50th, but the guy got a lot of orders on, so it came just after my 51st birthday, about 2 weeks before Mark made that journey to Sheffield Wednesday. So that was the last thing my brother ever bought me. So he's now got pride of place on the fireplace next to me brother and his little memento with his ashes.
What was Mark like?
Top lad, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Fantastic brother, brilliant uncle to Matt. Like I say, he was more like a best mate to me, not just a brother. We were thick as thieves and I've been probably since I was about 14, 15.
What do you remember from that day?
Texts off Mark and Matt to say they were on the coach early doors. They were in good spirits, laughing and joking. 20 past 12, I had the photo come through of Mark and Matt in the stands and a little message saying, "Yeah, in the seats already." Heard Andy Johnson on the commentary say there'd been a commotion in the away end. Literally a minute, 2 minutes at most after that second goal had gone in. As Andy Johnson's finished that sentence off saying, "I hope everybody's all right, whoever's concerned, I hope they're all right," my phone started ringing and it's Matt. I'm thinking, oh, they must have gone for a point. They just be playing too bad. And first words out of Matt, my lad's mouth were, "He's collapsed, Dad, he's collapsed, he's not breathing. Uncle Mark, he's on the floor. There's a girl here doing CPR on him, and chest compressions and another 2 blokes helping her now." I said, "We need to go and get a steward." He said, "I've tried. Lads have tried. The one bloke don't speak English. Another one said, I haven't got a radio and I've got to cover this quarter." So that went on. I must have been on the phone for about 7, 8 minutes. The first paramedic got there about 3, 4 minutes past 1. I phoned Matt back. He said, "There's more medics here now, but he's still on the stand. They're on about moving him." I was like, "Okay, you follow Mark. Wherever Mark goes, you go and keep me updated." So we come off the phone again. Give it 5 minutes. Phoned him back. He said, "They've got us in the concourse." But by that time it was approaching half time and you can hear the Albion fans in the concourse. He said, "They're still working on him, they're still pushing him." He said, "I've seen his hand move and I think he might be all right." At this point, nothing about the defibrillator had come out at that stage. Next time he phoned me, he tried to get in the ambulance with Mark. They said it wouldn't be advisable for him to go in there. So they took him to the hospital in a paramedics car. The paramedics had been given the wrong end of the ground to attend. So they had to do a lap of the ground to get to where they needed to be to attend to our Mark in the first place. Matt was put in a waiting room while they were working on Mark. And about 15, 20 minutes later, I had a phone call off a nurse to express sympathy that Mark had passed away. The stopping of the game, I think, would have helped my brother. Quicker route for paramedics to get across the pitch. That's down to the AFL and their ruling of what happens. I believe if it's a Premier League game, the game gets stopped automatically. I can't see what the difference between Premier League and EFL is. Something needs to change.
Less than 1 in 10 people in the UK survive an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. Every minute without CPR and defibrillation reduces the chances of survival by 7 to 10%. If a defibrillator is used within 3 to 5 minutes of a cardiac arrest, survival rates can jump from 6% to 74%.
After speaking to Steve, it got me wondering, how many people actually know where their nearest defibrillator is in stadium and how to use it? I spoke to fans to find out. Do you know where your nearest defibrillator is in the Coventry Building Society Arena?
I do not, no.
No, I do not.
Do you know how to use a defibrillator?
I do. I'm first aid trained, so I do know how to use one. I do, actually. Been first aid trained.
Yes, I do, yeah.
What more do you think needs to be done with stadium safety?
Just more defibrillators around the ground. I mean, there probably needs to be signs towards the defibrillators, and probably more of them as well, because I've no idea where they are, to be honest. So.
To make more aware of where the defibrillators are, you can get more in the stadiums as well.
Thankfully, there is someone trying to make a difference. Beloved England and Sheffield Wednesday fan Paul Gregory, otherwise known as Tango, has teamed up with the Red Sky Foundation, creating the Lawrence Legacy One in Every Corner campaign in memory of his daughter. A few years before passing away in 2023, aged 29, Lauren Walker was saved by a defibrillator. I met up with Paul to find out more about the campaign and the work they've done so far.
Oh, it was great. It was like having my best mate when my daughter was there. She was my princess. She come absolutely everywhere. She was infectious. Everybody loved Lauren. It was Lauren's funeral date on the 21st of December. My aim was to get 4 into Hillsborough on that date, which through various fundraising schemes and everything else for people there, people across the country. We managed to get them 4 defibs in. Then the idea come then to get the first city done. So the first city was like Wednesday and United, which I managed to do. Now it's ongoing from there. We're getting defibrillators fitted at Shrewsbury this weekend. We're getting fitted at Leeds United. Sunderland's already covered, and hopefully we'll be getting on to Huddersfield and Portsmouth are our next few ones. We're already into West Bromwich Albion next season. Lauren's legacy is actually my life at the minute. I've got to get through this to make sure that I have done something for my daughter.
So you may be wondering, how expensive are these defibrillators and how are they funded? I spoke to MBE Sergio Petrucci, the man who founded the northeast-based Red Sky Foundation, bolstering Paul's campaign and providing a platform for him to make a difference. We discussed how the charity has grown over the years and the key facts about defibrillators.
Well, we've raised over £2.5 million now, and the help that the impact that we've had in local communities, not just here in the northeast, but spread across the UK, has seen a massive contribution in the form of public access defibrillators and also defibrillators into grassroots sports teams and also public access defibrillators into football stadia across the UK as well as part of this One in Every Corner campaign. Over 1,300 times those defibrillators have been deployed. Those 1,300 times the defibrillators have come to the aid of somebody. The defibrillators that were installed in retail over £1,000. The cabinets cost £600, and then hopefully if we can get an electrician to fit them and the equipment that goes to install them, you could be looking at around about £2,000, but then there's the maintenance as well, because if those defibrillators get used, those pads need to be changed as well. So in the main, you'd be looking at a couple of £1,000s per defibrillator. There isn't a quick win here. There's 92 Football League teams, whether it's Premier League or Football League, and the issues is that we need to fundraise to do this, and every penny that gets raised is getting ring fenced. And I think that's what really excited Paul in the main, is that he wasn't gonna go out there and help fundraise for something that wasn't relevant to the cause. So what we do is we have it as restricted funding. It means that if a supporter of, say, Plymouth Argyle wants to donate, they can actually write in their comments box that they are Argyle fans, and that's where we can help put their money. Whether it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to get them all done, it will happen.
So far, the campaign has been a great success, raising £17,500. For Mark, it was too late, but his brother hopes some good will come from this tragedy.
I think the least these clubs can do is give something back and ensure to the best of their ability that these fans are in relatively good and safe hands.
Not long after interviewing Sergio, I emailed
all 72 of the EFL clubs to ask how many defibrillators they have and how many they have on the stadium in a match day as well. I received a mere 18 responses, which were helpful. 2 clubs replied but didn't want to help with the documentary. And that is poor, to be honest. It really does highlight the issue, I think, and the fact that it's not being taken as serious as it should be. Out of those 18 clubs, what I did realise is that all of these clubs are equipped with defibrillators, but the issue is, I think, really awareness, as you saw in the Vox Pops I did with football fans. I think that the big thing that's needed is for this campaign to be pushed. Need mounted defibrillators in stadium. It should be a bare minimum to have 4. I think this campaign is vital, that fans get behind it, and I'm hoping this documentary can give as much publicity as possible. I did find out also that not long after Mark's passing, 4 mounted defibrillators were installed into Hillsborough. Now, these could have been vital on that day. This could have saved his life, and I think it's really important that this campaign is given as much awareness and publicity as possible, and I'm hoping that I can help with Paul Gregory's campaign with the Red Sky Foundation. Plans for next season for the Lawrence Legacy One in Every Corner campaign, the grounds that are having defibrillators mounted into and installed will be Leeds, West Bromwich Albion, Huddersfield, I'm pretty sure, and Portsmouth. So the campaign is growing, and hopefully more and more clubs will get on board. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to everyone on board with this documentary. Steve and Mark's family for allowing me to interview and tell Mark's story. A massive thank you to Paul Gregory, otherwise known as Tango. A huge thank you to Sergio Petrucci, the founder of the Red Sky Foundation. The work that they're doing is absolutely massive, and it's going to make a huge, huge difference. Thank you all for watching.